We all know the quiet frustration of being underestimated. You put in the work, show up with your best effort, and somehow the world still treats you as entirely ordinary. And often we just accept it. Look at this graph showing how external forces dictate our baseline. You start with a stable sense of self-worth, but fluctuating external opinions act as a market force, eventually dragging your internal baseline down. But consider this. What if the low value someone places on you has absolutely nothing to do with your actual capability? What if their appraisal is entirely a reflection of their own cognitive limitations? A teacher hands a student a flawless, shining ruby, tasking him to find its worth without ever selling it. To decode human worth, we have to stop obsessing over the object being evaluated. Instead, we need to dissect the psychological biases of the people doing the judging. The student walks into the lowest tier of the local market, approaching a chaotic group of produce vendors. He shows them the stone. The orange seller looks at it and offers a dozen oranges. The vegetable vendor inspects it and offers a sack of potatoes. These vendors are operating under a cognitive limit we can call the survival mindset. This mental state limits a person's valuation entirely to immediate utility and basic biological needs. When you interact with people stuck in this state, feeling insulted by their lack of appreciation is a waste of your energy. The orange seller isn't trying to cheat the student. His daily reality revolves entirely around perishable goods and immediate trades. His worldview simply lacks the vocabulary to comprehend the nature of a precious gem. If you seek validation or determine your self-worth in environments focused purely on day-to-day survival, the appraisal you receive will always be terribly low. The student leaves the produce stands and enters a wealthier district. He hands the ruby to a goldsmith, who is amazed by its brilliant shine. The goldsmith offers 100,000 gold coins on the spot. When the student declines, the goldsmith panics, escalating the bid to 500,000 gold coins. This chart visualizes the capacity ceiling. An appraiser's final valuation is firmly capped by their personal constraints. The goldsmith's massive offer feels like a peak, but he can only value the stone up to his own wealth. The student walks away from the gold, arriving at his final destination, a master diamond merchant, representing the highest tier of expertise. The merchant takes one look at the stone and is mesmerized. He carefully lays down a red velvet cloth, places the ruby on it, and bows deeply. He declares that even if he sold the whole world, he could not afford it. It is entirely priceless. We are finally looking at the intrinsic mindset. This rare evaluator possesses the expertise to detach an object from mere transactional utility, allowing its true, limitless value to register. Keep in mind the critical variable of this entire journey. The physical shape, weight, and shine of that ruby never changed once. The perceived price was never about the stone itself. Every single offer was just a mirror, perfectly reflecting the psychological capacity and expertise of the person making the bid. Like that ruby, the worth of a human life is fixed and immense, regardless of who is looking at it. Yet the tragic reality for most of us is that we spend our days surrounded by orange sellers, people who constantly try to barter your time and energy for far less than they are actually worth. This feedback loop visualizes the danger of those environments. If you absorb enough of these flawed, low-value appraisals from the outside, they eventually reprogram your core system. You start believing the inaccurate data is true. That is why you have to aggressively curate your environment. You must actively seek out the diamond merchants, the rare spaces, mentors, and peers who possess the capacity to recognize your intrinsic capability. Stop letting unauthorized, entirely unqualified appraisers dictate what you are capable of achieving. Refuse their definitions. Your value is an unalterable constant, but its recognition depends entirely on your choice to stand where you are truly seen.